When I look at all of my products together, what strikes me in particular is that they all look similar and all give off a sense of fun. Connoting a fun read is vital, as it shows the target audience the magazine will have a variety of articles and images to keep them entertained and interested. I am pleased with all my work, but I particularly like my contents page, colour scheme and the water text on my billboard, as these elements do a particularly good job at connoting the magazine will be creative, different and fun. I think one of the main reasons why my products look successful, aside from my secondary research into genre conventions and my own skills, is that I consistently use primary target audience research during every stage of this project. The first primary research survey I conducted using SurveyMonkey allowed me to establish my target audience demographic. I learnt that the primary group I would need to represent were Cornish males and females aged 15 to 24 years in social grades A to C1, and a secondary target audience would be those of a similar age holidaying in Cornwall, along with some slightly older readers. I then established why my target audience would want to consume my magazine and found out that their consumer needs fitted into the following categories outlined by Bloomer and Katz in 1973: information, socialisation and entertainment. And next I conducted a SurveyMonkey concerning my initial media language ideas and found that my target audience preferred the name Spindrift, wanted to see coastal colours, would feel represented by landscape photography and wished to see informal typography in Lexis. With this information in mind, I planned my flat plans and began my practical work. I then surveyed my target audience about what they thought about my first drafts and images and made any suggested improvements and changes. For example, my first content page did not have the white creative overlay and my target audience thought it was too traditional, so I developed a more creative idea after learning their thoughts. Another example was my cover image. On an earlier draft I had a different image, but my target audience did not like the lighting or positioning, so I did a new photo shoot and replaced the image with one that looked more professional. Finally, after I completed all my work, I asked for final feedback from my target audience and found that 90% liked my colour palette, 100% thought all the products looked like they belonged to the same magazine, 80% liked my imagery, 80% liked my articles, and 85% thought my layouts looked right for the genre. I also learned that different people preferred different products. For example, 65% said that they preferred the website to the magazine. I also learned that there were still areas I could improve. For example, 30% said my double-page spread layout could have been more original, and 20% said I could have improved my masthead, while 30% said my stories could have been more original. If I had more time, I would address some of these points. On the whole, though, I was really pleased with my feedback, as 90% said they would try my website or magazine if I really launched it in Cornwall. But as my survey showed, I think if I was able to do this for my target audience, I would go with the online edition as opposed to the print, as this better represents the youth market who prefer online products. Completing my A2 Advanced portfolio has continued to show me how Gauntlet's 2007 theory concerning how new media technologies brushed aside the outmoded notions of receiver audiences and elite producers, as I have been able to produce my own magazine and website and distribute it online to my audience. This also fits in with Planet's 2008 theory that a new generation of UK media power players are ditching the traditional gatekeepers and going straight to their audience via the web. The principal piece of software that allowed me to ditch the traditional gatekeepers and reach my target audience via the web was Blogger, as I was able to start my own free online blog to present my planning, main task, billboard, web link and evaluation to my audience. However, I also used Data, Flame and YouTube to host and present my website and evaluation respectively before embedding the links onto Blogger. I had already gotten very familiar with Blogger last year, as it was a vital tool for presenting and recording work and for receiving feedback. This year I do think I used it with greater ease and completed a wider range of planning tasks as I was more experienced. During the research stage of my project, one piece of software which was integral for the completion of this phase to a high quality was the internet browser which I used, which was Safari. This piece of software allowed me to gain information and knowledge about professional publications for which I could use to help aid the construction of my products cheaply and quickly. The internet also allowed me to use SurveyMonkey to create primary research surveys, which I then distributed on my social networks before returning to SurveyMonkey to analyse my collated data, which could easily be transformed into graphs at the click of a button. This piece of software was extremely used as it allowed me to continuously find out what my target audience wanted from my products and create my work shaped around their needs. The next piece of technology I relied heavily upon was the Canon 5D Mark III. I used this professional digital SLR in conjunction with a 64GB SanDisk memory card to get the best results. By using this technology I was able to capture high quality images to use on all of my products. The fact that these images were high quality makes it much easier for them to be manipulated and edited without them becoming pixelated or distorted. The zoom and focusing function of the camera allowed me to produce high quality images featuring content which would be suitable to include within the main tasks or the ancillary tasks of this project. Improving my photography skills was a highlight of the course this year, as last year, having never done media before, I do not think I progressed my photography skills far enough. This year I got to learn how to master the basics of outdoor photography in natural light, and think after taking around 2,000 images my skills have improved greatly, as I have learnt a lot about mise-en-scène, shooting at different times of day, changing the lenses, setting up the manual focus and adjusting the aperture. However, I still think I could continue to improve, so I intend to keep following tutorials and keep practicing photography, as is something I would like to continue doing in my spare time after my A-levels are finished. Once I had taken the images, I needed to edit them. I found that the best package for me to use in order for me to do this was Adobe Photoshop. This software allowed me to manipulate the images in a way which made the images look clearer and better quality than they would have from the camera alone. This allowed me to produce high quality images which could be used for all products which I had to make as part of this project. Key things I learned through following tutorials was how to get interesting shadow effects, how to make images look sharper, and how to adjust the colours. Another part of Photoshop which was ideal for the use of this project was the graphics and text tools, which along with Illustrator allow me to create interesting water splash text which I used on my billboard. I really enjoyed using Photoshop this year, as I found things less new and hard to master than last year, and think using Photoshop in conjunction with Illustrator and InDesign allowed me to create fun and interesting features for all of the products that met the needs of my target audience. For the website, software like Photoshop is unsuitable because it doesn't let you edit the code for the website, which is the only way in which you can build a website. For this I chose to use Adobe Dreamweaver because it allowed you to work visually as well as with the code, which makes building of the site much easier. I already had some experience with building a website, as I was the online editor for our college magazine Sky last year, and this meant I knew how to code and use Dreamweaver, which meant in a relatively short space of time I was able to produce a high quality professional looking website to accompany my magazine. What I particularly enjoyed about this website compared to the one I did for the college magazine is that I intentionally made it more simple for the target audience to use, as I think this is an important feature for a target audience who could be consuming the website on any device. Out of everything I did during my A-levels, I think creating websites is a skill that comes naturally to me, and it is something I will continue to do in the future. The final pieces of technology which I have used to complete this evaluation are the Canon 5D Mark III to film, iMovie to edit, and YouTube to upload to the internet. In terms of iMovie, I have taken the advantages of blue screen capabilities of this software in order to show the graphics which you can see behind me, and I have made use of the editing functions of it to create the best quality video I could make. In conclusion, I have progressed my skills with a number of technologies this year, including Blogger, SurveyMonkey, digital SLR cameras, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Dreamweaver, iMovie and YouTube. I can definitely see a massive improvement between my AS and A2 coursework, and I am glad I took this subject, as it has really shown me how digital technology can be used cost effectively to become a producer of real media text.